One, two, 1, 2. Monster gap up on Trump China tariff news. Pulled back a little bit, was as high as 420, ironically enough. Give me one sec, I'll be right back. Alrighty. Bit of a crisis going on over here. You can't find my weed vape, which I didn't really care. Haven't cared about all day until I just can't find it. So, I'm gonna munch on some edibles real quick. Yeah, we got a 400 point gap up currently, and I think I've got my charts all marked up here already. 4 hour, day, week, day, week. So it should be fun. See what happens here. What's up, people? How are you? Eligible for a payout in one of these accounts. I could pull out 1,500, just shy of 1,500. I'm gonna try and smash some more money in this account. This account with this $3,000 balance down here. I would love to put in like another 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. I mean, ideally 5,000, 10,000. But realistically, grand or two would be nice. So might be trading a little aggressively. I'm trying to debate how I want to trade. There's obviously going to be volatility. I don't want to just plow into anything and do something stupid. Do not want to lose money. I'm trying to put money into the account, so probably scale into A plus setups a little more aggressively than I have in the past or over the last couple weeks. I do have a new Blue Live account or a brokerage account that they're supposed to be setting up for me now, where they're sending me the paperwork. I wish that account was active. I would definitely trade that. I'd be way more comfortable trading that the way that I want to versus the Top Step accounts. Well, we'll see. We got about 6.5 minutes here till open. I just wanted to make sure that I'm like settled, situated, got my live stream stuff set up. Wasn't even sure if I was going to stream, but I figured why not? Let's do it. Should be interesting, could be fun. But I want to be fully prepared for this move. I think I had an all right day today. I did oh, they wiped my daily profit and loss. I think I put 360 into, yeah, 366 into two XFAs. So 732 plus another 400 and change. So I had about $1,000 between last night and today. So it was decent. Not gonna complain about it. But I didn't sleep last night, and I feel like I could have done a much better job at the Open. I did make a one trade attempt at the Open, and then I got into longs in a combine, which I did okay with. But I feel like I missed a huge opportunity not being well rested. I went to caught the 4 hour. We'll get NQ here last night. Doesn't look like much, but this 4 hour break to the upside, this inside bar that broke bull, was 122 points. And I got in early and then added on this trigger, and it just completely ripped up. If we look on like a smaller time frame here, where was it? It was this, just this huge candle here. This is a 15-minute chart. Looking on 5 minute, it just broke and ripped. And then London opened, it sold off, and I cashed out right before I sold my position, exited before London. I knew we were getting, London open, the flip, etc., etc. I said I'm done, and then I sat here and fiddle fucked around with this for all night, and it did nothing for the most part until early this morning. So I didn't sleep. Slept, before Globex futures open last night. Other than that, I haven't slept. I didn't sleep all night, all day. No naps, no rest. So I'm just gonna try and smash some money into an account real quick, and then probably conk out. What's the site where you see that gap? It's IG.com. If you search US Tech Weekend 100, US Tech 100 Weekend, it's like IG.com, something, something, something. Weekend US Tech 100. They use CFDs, contracts for delivery, for traders who are trading those positions. They trade them over. You can trade them over the weekend, I'm assuming, and after hours when futures are closed. So it's usually pretty accurate as far as what to expect, like going into Sunday or when futures are closed. If you're normally, I don't look during the week. I check during the weekend, so I know where I expect to open on Sunday. See if there's going to be some volatility. But um, I saw some Trump China news, whatever. I decided to take a peek. Austin actually posted a news update. It was like gap up, Trump China, and I just went to this website. I saw it was up, 350, 400, 420, 425, something like that. It's pulled back a little bit, but definitely helpful. ES probably opens at 5,400. Um, oh, I would imagine. Yeah. Let's see. I mean, NQ is up 2.5%. So if ES from the close is up 2.5%, what's that put us at? 5,430. That's 2%. I don't really trade ES, so I don't know. I mean, it's NQ is up 2.6%, and ES was up 2.51% today. So, uh, I would imagine it's going to be similar. But volatility on the menu for tonight. So, yay. Oh, you had me muted? I did step away for a second. I muted and I was running around trying to remember. I mean, I'm not the type of person, I don't lose things, right? Like, I don't lose my keys, my wallet, shit like that just doesn't happen. Everything has a place, it lives there, and if it's not there, I'm like, where the fuck is it? Right? That's where it's supposed to be. So, yeah, I got up and I'm like, what is going on here? Something's not right. But yeah, I'm back. Did you get the info about Weekend Tech, the website and all that? I'll post it in chat here for anybody else who cares. Here we go. I'm gonna get a halt here for, let's see. There we go. So, yeah, how big was that gap? 258 points. So not quite three and change, but lift off. I mean, we're looking like outside week. For anybody who's wondering, like, bigger picture where we're headed, inside bar, very possible we go outside bar. If not, next week should get the job done. But that's what I'm kind of keeping an eye on. Depends on how the market reacts to this news. If buyers continue showing up or if they think it's just some, BS, fake news, nonsense. Like, there's been a lot of Trump posting on social media about, China wants a deal, wants a deal, wants a deal. But, whether that's true or not, or I think this morning I read an article that said China they hadn't even started having discussions yet. So, like, on a serious level. So, I mean, who knows? But just trade price. The charts tell the story. We don't really, I like to look and see why something might gap 2, 3, 400 points, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, right? Market likes something that's going on out there, and price is responding, and the charts will always beat. The algos that are processing news feeds will always beat us. Reading the news ourselves. So pay attention to price. That's all that really matters at the end of the day, in my opinion. Oops, I want to get on the 100 tick chart here. Put a nice little quick long snipe. But these are, I mean, that's 63 points. Just got to be careful. For me, I'm just going to be a little bit patient here and let things shake out. There will be plenty of setup opportunities. Wait for a TTO, a little bit of corrective activity. The market stays bullish. It's just going to keep pumping up probably all night. We're already close to, this is ES. ES is much closer to going outside week already, but NQ is definitely headed there too. So I actually want to make sure I got my weekly high labeled. I do. I mean, I definitely just want to smash buy on a couple contracts, but I don't want to get in, like up here where we just pulled back 40 points in 21 seconds. You know what I mean? But that gap up pretty much ruins any of the smaller time frame setups. I mean, we gapped up, on the from the day down, and we just got the weekly potential outside bar. So really need to wait and see what happens here. At least that's my plan. Good morning, everyone. Pulled an all-nighter. So have I. Do you actually sleep, Penguin Man? I have not slept yet. I saw you message me earlier. I was busy though. I have not slept. I pulled an all-nighter, and here I am. I'm also a little bit of a crazy person, so if that's not you, I get it. Sounds like you're not that dedicated. Binge watched an entire show in one day. What show? I have not seen it. The Residents. Don't know anything about it. Is it worth watching? I mean, I guess if you binged in one day, it was either interesting or you're just a lunatic. It was pretty good. All right, I'll put it on the list to check out. Where's it at? Where can I watch it? Netflix, HBO, or Max, Hulu, Paramount Plus, Peacock. Like 8 billion streaming services now, so gotta ask. Otherwise, it's like going on an Easter egg hunt to find out where some of these shows are. Netflix, all right. You got your $100, OD. Yeah, I mean, I want to scale into a, you know, relatively large position if I can help it. Last night I had an opportunity and I kicked myself for not doing it. I even posted in Top Step Discord 4 hour inside bar break on watch will add, and I added like 3 micros instead of really smashing the buy button like I should have, and then it ran 120 points almost instantly with no pullback. And I was like doing trader math, like, you know, two minis, 4 grand plus times two accounts, $8,000 in all of like 20, 30 minutes. So I'm gonna try and not let those opportunities slip by. Like I sat up all night waiting for that inside bar to close and then break, and then just didn't kind of capitalize like I feel like I should have. So need to work on that a little bit. But I didn't, do anything crazy or stupid. Put a little money in the accounts. 250, nice. Was a little crazy there, yeah. Yeah, it was. Would you catch longs like on this first little pullback here, and then what was that good for? It's good for like 100 points in a minute 30 seconds. Yeah, that kind of shit's nice. Or even if you shorted, you probably just grabbed the long. I'm guessing 2 micros, nice. Gonna be a lot of people wanting this gap to get filled. Doesn't have to, but don't get caught on the wrong side of the trade, like expecting this gap to fill. If news stays positive, it's the market's just gonna run. It'll worry about that gap later. The flip side is it could also, it could fill the gap, but I'm not taking trades around whether the gap is going to fill or not. Just taking strat setups in the direction of time frame continuity, and that usually serves me pretty well. Uh, what was the news? It was Trump. Where is it here? Man, there was so much news today. It was essentially Trump saying, let me see, it's in our Discord here. Austin posted it. Trump asked if he'll play hardball with China, says no. Trump tariff on China will not be as high as 145%. It'll come down substantially, but won't be zero. So that was all it took. I have to do the old zoom in trick here because normally these candles are spaced 10 points apart, and it looks like that. That's 20 points. There's 10 points. There's a lot of volatility like this. The charts can be a bit misleading. And that back test of VWAP and sell was really nice. 50 points. Well, I'm not in a huge rush. I'd rather be very picky about the trades that I take. I only need one really nice trade to kind of make my week and the month strong. Main thing is not to do anything dumb. Like that's job number one right now. Like I could click a button and take $1,460 out. So I don't want to do something dumb and be down two, three, $400, and now I can only pull out 1,200 or something. Let me fix my other charts on my other screen here and zoom into this 5 minute. 5 minute inside bar broke bear, but immediately pulled back. Two on a Tuesday. Am I trading the 1 minute now? I mostly focus on the 60, the 4 hour, the 12 hour, and the day. But I really like the tick chart for just market structure and where I can put really tight stops. When futures first open, I use the 1 minute, but usually on like my execution platform, I use the 2 minute and the tick chart. But always trading higher time frame setups. Like for me, ideal setup is something on the 60 that triggers a 4 hour, or a 4 hour setup that triggers a day, or even just a 4 hour setup, and then I'll look for entries on a 5, a 15, 30, and just use smaller time frames to get even better, tighter stops. So like I don't really just trade off the 1 minute or the tick chart, but I like to see the data that they give me. Yeah, today was quite the turnaround Tuesday. And then Sarah had posted, maybe there was some selling there for a minute. So she was like Wednesday to retrigger the week to the downside, and I said I had just gotten excited about the potential rev strat on the week to the upside, and now it looks like we might go outside bar, possibly. I mean, there's a lot of work for bulls to do, but certainly looking good going into next week as a the rev strat as a potential trade setup. But still a lot of week left, so anything between now and then, a lot can happen. But I just like to look ahead and kind of gauge my interest. Like if this, then that. If we close the week like this, what does that set up? What do I want to look for on smaller time frames? Might just see if I can smash 1500 into this combine real quick and get another funded account. We'll see. Probably trade that if I'm feeling antsy as opposed to just jumping into, you know, I'll wait for a better setup to trade on the funded account, and I don't care about the combines as much. Like, I don't want to just blow it, but if I do, it's, I lose 50 bucks. I'm not going to burn 200, $300 out of a funded account that I can withdraw from right now. Alex picked up more XRP. Crypto's been on fire. I don't know if you guys are watching crypto. Bitcoin's up 5.85% currently. Ethereum's up 11%. What do we got? XRP's up 6.12. I mean, just big green across the board. It was weird going into this week. Crypto was up and pretty much uncorrelated with NQ. NQ was not nearly as strong as crypto. Sometimes crypto can be a little bit of a leading indicator. Going into futures open, if crypto is strong, typically you would expect, NQ and ES to open with some strength, but it just that wasn't the case. But crypto has been holding up really, really well, regardless of what NQ's been doing. So happy about that for my IBIT and FETH positions. Yeah, that's a nice looking XRP chart. Oh, and Alex just posted the 3 week bottom of the broad information, little hammer like candle there. It was tough to watch. I think I was up maybe 8, 9 grand in that IBIT position, and then just watch it come back to small red. But I'm pretty much, this is like a long term position. I'm just planning on holding, right? Bitcoin historically just goes up. So maybe it doesn't forever, but so far, since it's been out, yes, there have been 80% pullbacks and whatnot, but at the end of the day, where it always ends up higher than it was. So, like, I don't care about it too much. I mean, if it pulled back to like 40 grand, 30 grand, or it looked like it was heading in that direction, I probably close it at some point. But pulling back to, I think my average entry was 77, and it pulled back to like 75 or so. Let's take a peek. 74.5. So just a little red on that, and but I'm sticking with it. Got a little 5 minute rev strat that I'm watching. So it did break bull, but pulled back a little bit. Just gonna sit tight until there's something that really gets my attention. That's what's been working for me. I like taking setups right off the open. If there's a like a 60 or 4 hour kind of inside bar that break off a 30-minute setup or a 15-minute setup, I'll jump in right off the open. Sometimes they just work really well, and then I'm done and don't have to kind of sit here. But when we get these big gap ups or gap downs like that, gotta pause a minute, see if it's a gap up buy or gap up sell, or if it's just gonna stay stuck sideways for a little bit. Again, because most of the the most success that I have is trading 60 and 4 hour setups, right? The 60 and 4 hour. Those are my go-to time frames. I could live without the others. I like the 12 hour too, you know. And of course, yes, the day, the week, every time frame is helpful. But give me a good setup like on a 60 and 4 hour. That's where I make my money. Really gotten away from just taking like little 15-minute setups where there's not a higher time frame setup with some magnitude. It's just like, can you squeeze a little bit out of it on maybe a scalpy kind of trade? Sure. It's just not what I'm looking for usually. I want 50, 60, 80, 100 points. During overnight, I'll take a lot. I'll take 40 points. It's a good trade. Sometimes 30. Rev strap month on XRP, Alex said. XRP. Pull up the monthly. Yes, sir. Got 8 days left till we get a new monthly candle. Definitely looking good for longs. If you guys are curious what that looks like, here's XRP. Here's the monthly chart. Inside bar, two down green hammer. We break the high. We target back up in here. Weekly 312 hit target. Big old green daily candle. Checking my Kraken account every single day. I just sent an email to FTX to ask them like where my bankruptcy money is. They just supposedly did a distribution on April 11th, and I didn't get paid then. So checking in to see what's going on because I'm kind of out of the crypto game and in my crypto account unless I'm trading uh like the Bitcoin or Ethereum ETFs. But with those, I can't use leverage. I'd like to get into a 20x, 30x, 40x, 50x position when things are moving like this. Do do do. See what else is moving. Gold selling. Gold's been on an absolute tear. So, bit of a temporary top maybe or a top in the near term. Don't know. Doesn't really matter, but pulling back a bit. What else? Silver too, down 2%. Silver has definitely not performed like gold has. 2-2 reversal on the 5 on NQ. Little failed 2 up, 2 down. See if it actually gets anywhere. 30 shooters setting up, 7.5 minutes till the flip. See what else is going on here. If there's anything else I want to kind of keep an eye on. Let's check oil. Oil's just been pretty ugly on the daily chart. as far as I'm concerned. Like this right here. It's kind of choppy sideways, slow grind up. Not really, you know, much to go after here. Inside bar breaks up, went nowhere. Then we got an outside bar here. Broke bear and bull. Went outside. Just not really what I want to pay attention to. Bitcoin trying to go outside month on CME futures. Love to see it. Send it to the moon. Outside 5 on NQ. Casual 44 points in 2.5 minutes. New 30-minute flip in just over 5 minutes. Looks like we're going to open inside 30. Probably inside 60. And this is going to be a repeat of what's happened now. I don't know, quite a few times it seems like in the last 10 days. Where we end up opening inside 15, then we get an inside 30 on the flip, then we end up inside hour. And I always say the next best setup for me is when the inside hour closes or the 4 hour. So usually at like 8 to 9. So like the 8 p.m. Eastern flip when we get that new candle. So like the current candle closes, we get another candle that prints, stays inside, and then on the flip, look to trade that break if there's something worth trading. But definitely not in a rush. I've been good about not taking trades if I just don't see anything I really like. But what I do need to work on is being a little more aggressive when those setups finally present themselves, like last night with that 4 hour inside that ran 120 points. If I'm going to sit here and be patient, then when the setup finally shows up, I need to go after it. Like with no hesitation. Just bang. Make that my, the one trade that I take, or, maybe it takes 2 attempts, 3 attempts. But be more aggressive with those because that would have been my, like, I could have just not traded the rest of the week. I could have taken probably 3 grand out of one account and, just taking it easy. I would like to get in a place where, maybe I'm taking like 2 great setups a week where I make a few thousand, times 2 copy traded accounts, and like that's it. I can go, fuck off for the rest of the week if I want, or be way more picky when it comes to, taking any other trading setups, or kind of do whatever I feel like. 2.5 minutes here till the 30 flip. Inside 15er. So let's take a look at the 15-minute chart. Here's the inside 15. Right. It's just stuck inside this previous candle. Boop, boop. And we are right in the middle of this 30-minute candle, so we're probably going to open, like that. Same thing on the 60. The 30 and 60 are still the same candle. We don't get decoupling until the new, 30-minute flip. But like if I had to put money on it, we're going to end up opening inside 60. But let's see what happens. OD wants 718 and a half. It's like 5 points away, bro. Did you get in much? You get in lower? It's funny. I always give people in, like late at night when, the only place that people are hanging out in any of the discords that I'm part of are Top Step. It's kind of like around the clock degenerates in there. And people are like, yeah, I want, you know, it'll be like 715 and like 718. And I'm like, wow, brave call. All 3 points, man. Posted 5 minutes ago. I didn't notice it. He just took profits, passed the combine and TPT eval. Nice. Yeah, I'm back on that combine adventure. I could not get the 1500. I mean, I ended up with 1500, just under 1500. I was $30 short. But dude, the amount of work I had to do, and I blew one. I really traded the first combine like a bit of an idiot, and then the second one I was like, all right, I need to, just patiently wait for setups like a normal trader. And I was like up 500, then I was up like 700, then 900, but just so much work because NQ was all over the place, man. It would, I'm looking for 40 again, 40, 50, 60 points with some follow through in the same direction, and it would drop like 40 points or 50 points and then V shape right back up or shoot up and then dump. I mean, it was just wild. There was a 50.5 second candle, and if I was using the 100 tick chart, there was a 30-point gap on the tick chart. Like, how do you trade that and manage risk like in a responsible way? It was wild. It was like a bazooka of news came out right around the same time, and NQ was like up, down, left, right with Russia, talks of Russia, ceasefire, a deal with Iran, Trump talking about Jerome Powell. There was a press conference plus, other things that were floating around, and it just all kind of came out at once. But I had to work really hard to kind of get that 1500. The reason I want the 1500 is because then anytime between now and tomorrow, like I can 2 day pass and instantly activate the XFA and trade in a funded account. Like if I only had 1,000, that means it's going to take me 3 days, which isn't the end of the world. But anybody who's trading props knows that if you're not trading in a funded account, like it's just meaningless. Not like that passing isn't an achievement if you haven't done it before. But once you've been doing this for a minute, the only thing that matters is trading in a funded account. That's where you get paid, right? And that's what I'm here for. That's what I think all of us are here for. So it's nice to know that, if there's a great setup, I can just get in aggressively and then have my funded account back that I destroyed last night. It was my least important one. I wasn't super upset about it. I only had like maybe I'm gonna say like 1,200 to 1,500 in there. So it's not like it wasn't nothing, but on a new XFA, I could put that up in like a day or two because I'm willing to trade a little more aggressively when I don't have actual money in there to lose. Not like a complete lunatic, but just scale like no problem, just jumping into 369 micros in a hurry. Not much going on here since the 30-minute flip. Just stuck inside. Looks like the 15 broke to the upside a little bit, but went nowhere. Keep an eye, see if this goes outside bar. We got 11 and a half minutes for that candle to close, so could go either way at this point. Could just be a little bit of a pullback and then push higher, or, kind of head back towards the open. Oh, that reminds me. Got to do some maintenance here. Daily open 18646. Make sure we got our continuity levels marked off so I know where price is at relative to the open. Make sure I'm on the 2-minute chart now that we've got some time. We're 34 and a half minutes into the open. So I like to look at the 2-minute chart, the tick chart, and then pretty much every time frame, the 5-minute to the weekly on my other screen. $7.25 incoming, just watch. That was obviously earlier to the upside. 629, yeah, so a little behind on catching up. Penguin goat, yeah, he's did you notice his profile pic? He's just like a bear penguin, like a bear cookie. Pengoat. Yeah, passing evals it's just a hassle. But like I rather I get the sim to funded thing or straight to funded, but usually they have tougher rules or consistency or whatever, and you pay quite a bit more. Like I can usually, if I have two combines, most of the time I can get both of them passed, but or maybe I'll say 60, 70%. The other time it's like 1 out of 2. So say it cost me $100 to get an XFA, and then I pay 150. 250 is still cheaper than what some of these places are charging. It's like 300, 400. Sometimes there are discounts, but they do just become a nuisance. Still got the 15 pushing down a bit here. I think I've mentioned before, keeping an eye on the 15-minute chart. Like, I used to be one of the, and Sarah has even said her SSS 50 rule, right, needs updating. As soon as you notice this candle breaks the high, goes absolutely nowhere, and then starts coming back through, like for me, that's the first sign of something reversing, whether it's been a nice move up or just, a series of candles like this where buyers just couldn't get it done, right? There's nobody willing to keep paying for it and push it up here. Sellers took over, and then we looked at come back through this candle range. But that keeping an eye on like the 15th. There was one today on NQ, I think. Simultaneous break to the downside on. It was a failed. I think two up on the 15, 30, and 60. So directional candle up, but red, meaning no buyers to continue buying, and that was basically the top. Kind of wish I had noticed this a little bit earlier. Pretty sure it's a trade I would have taken here, especially in a combine. but it's okay. It's not a big deal. There's going to be plenty of opportunities here. England just discovered sour bread recently, and man, sour bread is delicious. Erectile dysfunction, inability to get it up. Pretty much. This is the stuff that makes me crazy. Like if you're, if let's say I took that short and I'm looking for this to play out, and then you just get a V shape to the face for 25 points in a minute. It's just like, come on, man. Why are you making my life so difficult? Might just have to, saying that out loud, I might just have to use like a little bit wider stop and maybe not trade as aggressively as I want to, like more aggressively than I have been. But, if I'm going to use a wider stop, then I have to size down a little bit to keep the same risk. Maybe like 2 to 5 micros instead of 3 to 6, kind of a thing, and scale in a bit, add the winners. And this is a good reason. This is a good example of why, like I will trade minis in combines, but like in an XFA, if you have I mean that's basically what is this 30 points already? Come on, man. I guess I could just do the math. Yeah, 34 points. I mean on a mini that's $600. I can't stomach that on a 50K XFA with like a $3,000 balance. No. Once I get healthy balances, then I'll be way more comfortable just trading bigger size. And every time I try and rush things or just be more aggressive or make money fast, it kicks me in the teeth. It's not worth it. Like I'm doing fine. I have I'm doing well enough that I don't need to switch things up a whole lot. Listening to Deanna on Top Step TV, all she talks about all the time is managing risk, managing your bankroll, right? The account in general, and keeping these funded accounts as long as you can, not blowing them up in a week or two. Like it's fine if you get payouts and all that, but ideally you would just want to keep these accounts running. Top Step, if you hit 30 days, you can request money whenever you want. They'll move you to live at some point. But just keeping the accounts alive has been more important to me because I blew through so many accounts not doing that, just not caring. But I think that was a mistake. 600 of profit, yeah. I'm willing to risk like 100, 200 for 600. I mean, I'm looking for easily 3 RR like out of my stuff. Like tight stops, the shit needs to work right away or I'm probably wrong. Like last night, that 4 hour one, the 4 hour triggered, it just completely went. I don't have the lines marked anymore, but it was just it hit the 4 hour trigger and just like literally just kept going for 120 points. So I could have had a 5 point stop and been okay in that trade. That's what I'm looking for. 5, 10, 15 points of risk, 100 points of, pay, return. I get sometimes that's not realistic, but, even 40 points. I mean, risk 10 to 15 points maybe for 40 points. That's kind of where I'm at when the market's a little bit slow. When it's slower and things aren't moving, it's not New York where, things are just ripping. Last night was a bit unusual. and that the market just went straight up as quickly as it did. Like it was just a 4 hour inside bar break, and people were posting like news question mark, like is there some kind of news? I'm like, I don't think so, dude. It's just like the setup to take. This is why I like to watch inside bars, and when they fall under certain conditions, when they trigger, they just go. Or like a 3-2-2, two down green hammer. Just triggers and like lift off back through the range. It's beautiful. So I don't want to. I'm not okay sitting through a bunch of red. Not doing a whole lot. Looked like it was gonna go outside 15er. Trying to re-trigger to the upside. See right here. Awfully close. Okay, what's going on here? So enforce to the upside. Might be a good long. I'm gonna take a little. Give me a little bit of a pullback here. You son of a gun. That's what I get for not like marking my charts up and see if it pulls back a little bit. I'll jump in, take a shot at this. If it just goes, it's nothing I can do about it. Was that my only opportunity? I looked away for I was rearranging the scale of the chart. We got on the 30, inside 30. Yeah, definitely take a little crack at this. Trading buddy of mine just checked in. I just sent her some a text with eyeballs because I haven't heard from her in a while. She said she's hiding, doesn't have an account right now. So I can always tell when people are not doing well, or they just kind of disappear. I know they had a bad day. Usually we kind of check in and discuss. Come on, man. Stay down here for like a second so I can. So we got a 15-minute flip, but this might be what I always refer to as a 4 bar play. It's just a strat setup here that takes one extra candle to get the job done. Inside bar, this candle here, right? Could not take out this high. So I'll look for this candle to potentially do it. Finish the job, break this, and go look something like that. Little wick up here. So keep an eye on that. Order filled. Order filled. Uh-oh. Problems, problems. No, not ticks. What am I doing, man? Points, points, Tom, points. Sometimes on combines, I just switch to the dollar amount because I don't really care. I only care about where I get out at 1500. But I'm gonna trade this right now like I would trade an XFA and like to track points instead of dollars. It just makes it, I know what I'm looking for. When I get up into 30, 40, 50 points, I like to take, just a partial if it's near target. Sometimes you only get 30 or 40 points during overnight. And I noticed myself like being in positions up 40 points and then stopping out break even and doing that over and over. Like, nah, dude, that's not okay. So keep an eye on how many points we are and what sometimes the market's only going to give you 30, 40 points. Just take the money and run. Be done with it. Move on to the next trade. Take most of it off and just leave, a runner or two. I leave way too much money on the table, not just locking in profits. It's all my list of problem areas. Lock in gains quicker. So I really want to see this up near like 771. Might have been a little good little ad here. This is why I like the tick chart, right? I can see higher, low. We got the strat setup that I'm looking at in play. This just gives me a good area. Like if I wanted to add, boom, there's little corrective activity. Where I can keep my stops that are within reason, just on a as much as more zoomed in time frame, and then also using a certain number of default points for initial risk. That's how I do it. I don't know if I'm not saying that's right, wrong. I don't know how anybody manages their stuff. That's just what I do, and that's what's been working for me. Do I need to probably make some changes or adapt a bit? Yeah, I'm constantly trying to improve all that stuff. But I there were other traders that I watched who were using the tick charts, and I messed with it like at one point, and then I'm like, nah, I don't really, it doesn't work for me. And I tried it again, and I found it kind of useful. So easy to get frustrated. 42. How long ago was that? 8 minutes. Okay. Easy to get frustrated and get into that. I don't give a shit mindset. That's kind of how I got on Sunday night. Just a nasty blow up. Yeah, that's. I was trading well in my New York XFA this morning. I was actually up 500. I was down 700 and then I was up like 12, 1300. So I was green $500 and I ended up hitting MLL on that account and blowing it up because I didn't just take, I had to keep going. Like I was in two minis or whatever it was, and I was just looking for more, 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 more. Like I thought that could be a trade that puts that account up by like 2 or 3 thousand, and it just didn't go at that point. And so instead of just locking in 500, being done, I had to try and squeeze more out of the trade and ended up losing the account. So avoiding shit like that is a requirement for me. Like I cannot make those types of mistakes. I just can't. I'm going to, but I need to remind myself that that's not the way to do it. Because I was already up 300 in two other accounts. So I would have been up like $1,100 and then just been done with my night. 1,100 in Top Step and then 400 in um, Blue Sky. Like that's a $1,500 night. That wasn't enough. Do I like the 10-minute charts? I used to use the 10-minute more often than I don't really use it anymore. I think it's helpful though. I just don't have the. If I had the screen real estate for it, I already have 8 time frames up. So the 5, the 15, 30, 60, 4 hour, 12 hour day and week. Like I can't squeeze the 10-minute on there. Need a higher day? I think we're going there, buddy. I mean, that's what I'm banking on. I wish I added, another at least 3 contracts in here. But, you know, doesn't have to be a race. You're bad about round tripping shit? Yeah. It's awful, man. It's like there are cases where I'm like, having intraday trailing drawdown might actually help. Like, I hate it. I think it's horrible for the way that I trade. But in some cases, having some sort of trailing drawdown would be helpful, or a consistency rule, because I traded Blue Sky. Like, it's some of the best trading that I've ever done in that Blue Sky account. No, decent size, no hesitation, just bang, 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 back to back green days until I put 9 grand in the account, knowing that I'm capped at like 900 a day, right? So I make 700, cool. 500, cool. Like, do I want to make 900? Yeah, but I mean, if I'm making 50, 60, 70% of it, that's enough, Like, what's the difference? There's a consistency rule anyway, so squeezing out 200 bucks isn't really changing it that much. It's still going to take me probably 4 days, and that's what it took me 4 days to finish. I hate giving back money, man. I just hate it. The way I should handle that is to write down, where this position, like, have a journal and write down, yeah, this position was up 1500, and then what happened at the end. Did I give it all back? Did I give back, all of it except 200? And then have something to review and say, okay, this is what's going on here. I see a pattern of being up a couple hundred bucks and then giving it all back. Yeah, it was that was why I was kind of like, their consistency rule I think is 30%, so it's not terrible. Um I don't think they have one in live to my knowledge. Maybe in their sim brokerage account. I'm going to find out. They're supposed to email me while I'm waiting for this trade to play out. I'm going to take a peek and see. Oh, congratulations, you're headed to the brokerage. I need to answer some questions. All right, cool. 33 minutes ago. So once I fill that out, I can, be able to pull money out of that account and then to trade the balance, which will be $2,400. That's like the most you can start with in a brokerage account. Just kind of tight, but it's not terrible. It's just you can't, you gotta just kind of ease into it, in my opinion. It's not a lot of drawdown to mess with. Like, stick to a couple micros, couple $100 base hits, and then start to scale up a little bit. I don't think you can take an account that has 400 dollars in it and have like a $700 losing day. Like, that's a third of your, you know, about a third of your bankroll gone in one trading session. That's crazy. We got 2 minutes and 40 seconds here. I'm debating, should I throw more into this? We got a 60 flip actually in 2.5 minutes. Hmm. Uh-oh, hotkey not working. Order filled. So we can add one more. See if on the 30-minute flip we get the inside bar breaks bull. It's a inside hammer, and this is a one, two, three, four bar setup that didn't hit its target. Maybe it takes another candle, but I don't really, I don't have anything such as that I call 5 bar setup. It's usually it happens in this candle, but sometimes it takes longer. But That would be, we get the inside 30 here, break to the upside, new high a day, and then maybe we keep running. We are going to be closing near the highs of the hour, so would not, we're not going to be stuck inside nearly as much as I thought we were earlier. So it would be continuation. It's not something you want to like trade off of, but I like the inside 30 for new high a day and maybe more. Flip in 30 seconds. Anybody else in longs? OD, you still in a position? NES? Oh, 8 ball. 8 ball and OD. All right, I got backup. There we go. Send it. So quick lock in 175 and up another 150 and change in this combine. Really wish I'd taken this in the XFA or copy traded, but it's fine. For some reason, my first, like usually the first trade that I take, I kind of fumble, and then I have to get myself out of a small red hole. But take the win, leave a runner, set break even. So that was right off the flip. That was the flip, and then trigger the inside up new high a day, or what I said I don't call a 5 bar play, but you know that's it took 5 bars. See, like I hate to give back. I mean, do I just lock in the 170? I mean, I kind of want to leave this, so I guess I should just probably set a stop that's either break even or slightly in profit and be okay if I give that back. Looking to potentially make, just to hold on to this. That's where it gets tricky for me. And a lot of times I don't set limits out, I don't set take profit at target like that, like I just did, but I decided to exit partial and then just hold a runner at the target, just that was the target I was looking for. Out 2 contracts of 3, hold 1 for more, end up with a decent win. But I do wish I had a little bit bigger size, like I had added another 1 or 2. But just because the flip was so close to happening, and sometimes they just go like this did. There was no chance to even, like right before the flip, it started gapping up these little gaps on the tick chart. So I'll just leave this. Maybe there's, I'm like, could we get outside week tomorrow? We got like 3 days, right? Today's what, Tuesday? Aren't there some big earnings coming up that could maybe potentially throw wrenches in things? But if there's good news, I mean, I would see outside. We'd very possibly see outside week. Could I just camp on this micro overnight, like stress free, and maybe walk away with like $600 or more? A-ball got us 15 points. Calling in here. Saving the last 3 vows for morning. Good luck to you. I think I'm just gonna leave this contract and whatever happens, happens. Hmm. Failed two up on the 15, 30, 60. That could change, but did hit new high day target. I still think I'm just gonna leave this. So yeah, I think everyone has to, you got to figure out what type of trader you are, whether you just want to exit, like be out of this whole position on those moves and be done, or shoot for more, and how much you're willing to give back in order to make, if you're going to give back 300 and you're only trying to squeeze out another $100, it's you have negative risk return, right? Why risk 300 for 100? But if you're risking 100 to make 300 or 400, that definitely makes sense. I think sometimes I'm too willing to risk, or I'm willing to risk too much. But on this one, I think I'm just gonna hang out. I see no reason that the market is gonna like completely reverse. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out. But yeah, Penguin's playing a game, so you just copied your trade. So thanks. Oh, nice. Did it work for you? You make some money? Oh, you did exactly what I did. Awesome, man. Glad to hear it. Not financial advice. Don't copy me. But if it works for you, that is awesome. That's the strat, dude. A strategy that I found for trading, for my personality and the way that I think and the way that my brain operates. All right. Let's see what's doing in YouTube, if anything. Anybody in here? Who knows? I don't see anyone chatting. What game are you playing, Penguin? Overwatch. Nice. Did it? Bitcoin's up 6.27%. 93K, just under 93K. Probably hit 93K, right? Is that what you just said? Oh, it hit 94. Let me look at the perps. 94, 142. Sick. Just send this shit back to 110, 125 where it belongs. Get it to 200 with haste. Send that shit up, man. I will be a happy camper. Ethereum's up 11%. That helps me. Ethereum has been getting the shit kicked out of it. I don't know if you guys look at crypto or this is the weekly chart. This was back in 2021, 2022. Had a nice run here. Looked like it was going for all-time high and then has just been getting sloshed for the it's down 66% over 112 days. Just like getting its ass kicked and now it's starting to look like it wants to turn around, which I hope it does cuz I didn't set a stop on that position that I had. I don't know why. I don't know if it was a mistake. I just wasn't, Bitcoin I had been keeping an eye on more than Ethereum, but yeah, seeing crypto up like this is look at these numbers. We get double digit 12%, 13 and a half, 12%, 12, 11 and a half, 10 and a quarter. So I want to see Bitcoin just rocket. All right, NQ push back over our target. So another new high a day, up 44 points on this partial position. And I'm literally just gonna keep it open. Really, keep my stop where it's at. Maybe I'll trail it up a little bit here, like lock in 10 points, and just let this thing cruise. Pumping if you want a TP. Yeah, thank you for the call out. I did notice it just before I read your message. Yeah, I'm just gonna chill. It's a combine. I don't really care, right? If this just runs up a couple $100, it just makes my life easier. I wish I had copy traded, but it's fine. Like I'll wait for another setup and smash that one too. So gonna hop off. Decent start to the night. Feel like I'm in the zone a bit. And it's all about patiently waiting for good opportunities. So appreciate you all being here. Anybody have any other questions? Negative? All right, guys. I'll catch you next time. Good luck.